Hello, folks.
Hello, everybody. Let's see. I see Jessica and Frank and Deborah. Thanks for coming by. We really appreciate it. Um, so today I'm going to show the JoolTool. This is an expensive tool. Not everybody is going to want it or need it, but I had only been using it to buff polymer clay, and I remembered that before we moved, I had bought the polymer clay kits to uh, to actually do, like sanding and stuff with it, and I decided to try it out, and I've been loving it, loving it, loving it, loving it. So, how is everybody today? How is everybody? Okay, so we have a couple of announcements where we're not going to stream next week. We're just taking a week off. We're not going to stream next week. And because it's 4th of July week, and we figure lots of people will be off on vacation, and we need a little break ourselves. And then when we come back, we're going to go to streaming just once a week. And we hate to do that, but um, I'm needing some time to work on things that we actually get paid for. and, uh, and can sell and stuff like that. So,
So give me a
um,
second. I'm going to interrupt you real quick, sweetie. Janice
sure.
Bell says, "Hi, all. I've been drooling over the Jool tool for quite a while.
Mm,
So happy to
yeah.
see this demonstration. My only chance to really see it in action." Stacy Arnold says,
Yeah.
"Hi."
Hey, Stacy. Poor Frank is hanging around the southern part of hell. So, Misha, I'm going to ask you to pan out a little bit so I can talk a little bit about uh, this tool. Just pan out a
Okay.
little.
Okay, hold on. I wasn't expecting to do that. You had me fixed. Give me a second, sweetie.
Oh, all right, all right. That's okay. That's okay. I'll move the tool
No,
rather
no, no.
than.
Don't move anything. Just give me a second, please.
Okay. Okay. So the Jewel tool is Anie Jolie invented the Jewel tool. She's a really interesting lady. Her dad was a fine jeweler. He taught her to be a fine jeweler, and she developed this tool because she couldn't find tools that did everything that she wanted. Now I have talked about before that it is an expensive tool. Um, for you to get this tool and the polymer clay resin kits for domed pieces and flat pieces is around $700. So, it really is for people who are production working, I think. Or, I mean, if you have disposable income, go for it. But the other thing to keep in mind about this machine is there's a ton of different materials that you can work with this. The other day I saw Ani make a beautiful wooden pendant from just like scrap wood with it. She was using different discs than I'm going to be using to some of the same discs. I've used it a lot with metal. You can even buy a lapidary set with it if you were interested in that. A lot of people who work with glass, dichroic glass and stuff like that, they also use it. So I have the
Uh,
machine on its stand right now. I'm
I
listening.
have you. I have you zoomed out, sweetie. So it'll take a minute to get it repositioned again when you're ready to zoom in. Just let me know.
Right. So, and I see Janice is saying that there's even more bits for it than a Dremel. There actually is a Dremel attachment to this if you want to use it as a Dremel, and it's got this handle on the back that pops out. Let me put it pops out so you can carry. You can make it portable, or you can use the stand to bolt it to a bench or something like that. Now, I also wanted to talk about. Let me get this so people. There's a hole in the back here, And normally, what I would do is I would have a shop vac through that hole so that it would be carrying dust away for me. Now, I do see that she's just come out with a wet dry sanding kit, but um, the disc that I'm using today, we're going to be using dry. So I'm going to use a mask. It is an N95 mask, but I did not, take it from a healthcare worker or hoard it or anything like that. It's a mask that I've had for a while, and they don't want them if you've been using them with wood and metal and stuff like that. So, and again, I just put the tape in the back here because I'm going to have a lot to clean up by the end of this, and I figured if I could stop it from hitting the back of the tent, I'd do well. Now, the JoolTool uses
Sweetie, can I interrupt you? I have
sure.
I have a few questions here. Does this work on rocks?
It does. So if you go to the JoolTool site, and there's actually on Facebook a JoolTool community. Um, you can buy a lapidary set to go with this, or you can buy it as a lapidary set. There's so many different grinding discs and discs for people who make metal jewelry, people who make glass jewelry. Um, People buy a lot of sharpeners for it. You can sharpen. The one lady was telling me the other day that she sharpened her Tweezerman tweezers on on the JoolTool. So it's really kind of amazing. So it works with a series of discs here. So you can see that, right? And well, let me go back even further than that. So this is one of the back plates, all right? And there's a couple of different pads. I have two of them here that you put onto the back plate. You peel off the paper and you stick them onto the back plate. This is a very, very soft one. This is the one that we're going to use when we polish up curved pieces or round pieces. And this is a harder rubber one. So that's the one that's on the disc that you use for the flat pieces. And then, from there's just all kinds of materials that you can put on. These are some 3M abrasives, that are on there. This is a felt pad. A felt pad that's on there. I don't usually use felt with polymer clay, but I've been having very good luck with this felt pad that she provides. And the sort of neat thing about the JoolTool is is that fine or very fine? Okay. When you put these discs on and they're spinning, you can see your work. You can see your work through them. So that's pretty helpful. Sometimes when you're sanding by hand or with the tool, you can't really see what you're working on. So
Can I
now,
interrupt, sweetie?
sure.
Frank's asking if the pads are reusable or do you need a new one every time you change it?
So I've been using so I've been using this abrasive disc for a couple of weeks now. It's not a brand new abrasive disc, and I have been able to peel off the abrasives and leave the leave the rubber or the foam, and then put another abrasive down. But oftentimes what I'll do is these are just like, this is my dedicated fine fine abrasive. I'll just slap another piece of fine abrasive over this, right? So we're gonna try turn. I'm not going to sand anything right now. I'm just going to turn the machine on. I'll pull it back here just a little bit, right? I'm just going to turn the machine on because we want your opinion on whether or not I should mute when the machine is on. Now, the machine itself is one of the most quiet machines I've ever worked with. But of course, once I put a shop vac on there to collect the dust, it's not quiet anymore. Anie does sell a dust collection system for this tool. So I'm just, I had washed that pad off before we started. So by and large, that's the speed we're going to be working at until we get to the point where we're buffing, where it'll be up like that. So what did you guys think of that? That's not loud at all. Yeah, it is loud once you put your shop vac on it, though. I don't know if the dust collection system, if that's if Ani's system is loud or not. So again, no matter what you're working with, whether it's wood or certainly stone, and you don't want to get silicosis, but anytime you have fine material like this, you can see on here. I did a little polymer clay before we went on air. You want to. Even with the dust collection system, you want to protect your lungs. So I am going to put a mask on today. I am going to put a mask. And then I'm also a real stickler for protecting your eyes, right? So, jewelry making isn't pretty. You're not going to win. You're not going to win any.
I just thought you wanted to. I thought you just wanted to channel your inner geek. You got the goggles, you got the mask, you're all set. You could just come with my crowd.
Yeah, I missed the healthcare setting, and I won. So, I'll take the mask down when I want to talk. But you want to be safe. You want to make sure that you're safe. So we're going to do some flat pieces of polymer clay. So I'm going to start with the fine 3M disc. Now, the flat kit comes with fine, very fine felt, and 2 of these jeweler's grade buffing discs. Buffing wheels. And you'll notice one of them says compound and one of them says no compound. And so this is the compound right here. And I'll show you that as we go along. It also comes with a 3M radial disc that's pink. It's pumice grade. And I haven't found that, that's really to kind of take burrs off the edge of your clay and so on. And I'm going to be totally honest with you. I had extra back pads and so on. So instead of using that 3M disc, I've been using coarse and medium.
If you're showing something off, sweetie, push it more towards center. There you go, right there.
Yeah. So I've been using coarse and medium, to do, the more really lumpy, bumpy pieces and so on. So again, these ones that we're going to start with are for flat pieces. Later on, we're going to do some round pieces. And for the round pieces, let me see let me take this off for a second.
I think Janice Bell is rather excited about this.
For the round pieces, it's a more spongy back pad on there, spongy, and you won't use these with any sharp edges, because if you do, it lifts the abrasive. And then, of course, you're going to scratch your piece. You're going to have some trouble, right? You're going to have to keep replacing the abrasives. So that's why there's a difference in the kits. All right. And like I said, I pretty much just followed Anie's instructions with the exception of, I haven't been using that pumice grade radial wheel.
Frank's wondering if Ed Street can custom paint this like his pasta machine.
Oh, it's got a nice, it's got like a nice, I think this is like a powder coat finish on it, but it's not. Can you guys understand me when I have the mask on?
I hear you just fine. I don't know how they're hearing you on stream. Janice Bell says she's saving up for the 180 machine from Eddie and hopes he doesn't die before she can buy it.
Yeah, well, like I said, if you were to buy the whole kit, including the machine, you're talking about $700. So, flat polymer clay piece. I'm going to start with the fine.
So everybody hears you just fine, sweetie.
Okay. And I also want to mention that normally when I use this machine, my face is above this wheel. So I can really, really see my piece. But, just because we're trying to do it in the tent with the camera, I'm not really going to be positioned entirely correctly. But it'll be okay. It'll be okay. So
we just might get to see some flying pieces. Ginger the dog and I have a rule in here. Duck if you hear wire being cut, and listen for the sound of a piece of jewelry being flung in your general direction.
So, right, I'm going to turn it on, and I'm going to go with medium high. Now, it's not marked medium high. You kind of go by the sound, right? So what I do is I'm going to turn it all the way up and then turn it down. It's my suggestion that if you buy this and you start with the wheel going pretty slow, because even this fine abrasive can take off a lot of clay. So
Deborah Miller's asking, should this be used in an outdoor area?
Well, you can use it indoors. Like I said, I usually have a dust collection system on it. Basically, I have a shop vac on it. And so, if you could use it outside, that'd be great. And if you use the shop vac, it takes it takes care of a lot of the dust. Or Anie has a dust collection system.
So is that really more what you're working with? Because I would imagine, we don't work when we're working on stones. We work on those outside. When we're working with clay, that's a good one for the inside. So it's really kind of, A, do you have dust collection? B, how, if a little dust gets in the room, how catastrophic is that? And C, what's the material you're working on, right?
Yeah. I mean, so as you can see now, you don't want to press hard. If you press hard, it's one, going to fly out of your hand, and two, you can conceivably scratch it. And the part of this polymer clay piece that's getting sanded right now is getting sanded by the middle of this disc. I'm going to shut it off in just a second. You want to avoid getting nicked by these corners here, because that'll cut into the clay.
Yeah, Frank, that's pretty amazing. That's what I really like about this tool is you can look right down on the piece while you're working on it like that.
That it is an amazing thing.
What we found is we've used it a lot in the in Cynthia's main work area, and that's inside. And with the dust collection system running, we really don't get an excess of dust. Deborah.
But it is a concern. If you can't wear one of these masks, then sanding anything can be a concern, right? So you would probably want to stick with.
So Dee, the only reason So Dee, the only reason we don't have the shop vac hooked up is so you guys can hear us talk.
Well, I also don't have the shop vac hooked up because I didn't have a room for it right here where we're filming. Right? It just wasn't feasible. but
Well, it
but you
also wouldn't
should.
be feasible due to the no. Yeah, I mean, we always use it with the shop vac.
And like I said, she does also sell a dust collection system.
Yeah, you're right, Janice. There is a learning curve, and you get a feel for the machine, right? Just like any tool you use.
Well, I'm keeping it on a pretty low speed right now, and that's what I really suggest for these sanding discs when you first start, right? Especially the design on this is, it's a pretty thin veneer, so I don't want to sand it off. And I'm still, just like when I'm wet sanding, I'm still using my fingers a lot, to see if I have it nice and smooth. All right, so that's your first grit right there. Shut the machine off. And that, for me, that was a lumpy piece of clay. I didn't really smooth that out. Now I'm moving to the very fine disc. And again, I wash these off before I And I think you can probably hear that even sounds different.
Yeah, it is a compact machine. I like that, it's there. It's one of the quicker changeover tools we've played with, too.
Yeah. Probably should have done a bigger too.
Oh, no, it's actually framed beautifully, sweetie. It's a good example piece.
So
Frank's asking, Frank's asking, will you go through multiple grits?
Yes. You go through fewer grits with a flat than you do the domed round pieces, and I'm not quite sure why, but there's some leeway here. If I don't always start with the roughest grit, you get to know your work, your pieces, and what you need to start with. And not start with. So that's starting to bring up, let me see, a little bit of a glow. It's very, very smooth. It's very, very buttery. And I'm actually spending longer on each grit than I usually do because I'm afraid I'm going to mess up on stream.
Yeah, it's funny. That's what Janice Bell was saying, that each step should take about the same amount of time.
Okay, and so now I'm going to go to the felt disc, and I'm somebody who has been very cautious about using felt with polymer clay because I've burned pieces with felt, but whatever this felt is made of, I have not had that problem. Now, I think that Anie suggests that you go really high speed with the felt and then go back down to a lower speed. But I just kind of start with the lower speed and pretty much stay there. And I think that's because I'm afraid of felt.
Well, like you said, it can heat up the clay, and with the clay, you're right, it'll burn it. She said, Janice says she burnt a long shiny line in a tube bead just yesterday.
Yeah. Do you have the JoolTool, Janice? And so that's starting to bring up a shine. I saw somebody called it the drool tool. That's a
that is a good name for it. I do agree with that.
Now again, I'm not pressing this. I'm just holding it. And so it's one of the nicer things about the tool for me is, you know, I've been abusing my hands doing wire work and clay work and all kinds of stuff, you know, my whole life. So I don't know if you can see that's starting to bring up a shine there. But I'm careful with the felt. I don't go high with the felt. It gets kind of like grooves in it, I think. I stay in the nice low speeds.
Sweetie, what were you asking Janice if she
Oh,
had?
I asked it, yeah, if she actually had the JoolTool or if she used another type of felt. So there you go. Starting to get it
That's
nice.
starting to look nice.
It does look nice. All right. And like I said, I'm spending a little bit more time than I usually would. So now I'm going to do this buffing wheel, this jeweler's grade buffing wheel, with compound. And so the way that you do that is you turn it on. I'm going to go kind of high.
Ah, she has a Dremel. She doesn't have the JoolTool. She uses a Dremel.
So you notice I just gave it a zhuzh with the compound. That's what Anie
So
calls
so
it.
is zhuzh a technical term? Is is it a term
It's
of
it's
measurement?
it's it's Annie's term. Anie. That's what her name is pronounced, Anie. And I might go up. I'm going to go up a little bit higher. And again, I'm not pressing hard. I'm not pressing hard at all. And you'd be surprised that even this stage will take out some scratches, especially if you're up high. If you're up on the high setting, like I am here.
Yeah, it's starting to come through.
Yeah,
I guess Annie does a live presentation on this. It looks like daily, is it?
daily. There's the JoolTool community on Facebook, and she does do daily live. I'm gonna shut this off. She does do a daily live. Super nice person too. Super friendly, super nice. Okay, are you guys catching that?
That's
Nice.
starting. You're starting to see that depth in there. Now, is that just clay, sweetie, or is there a finish on there?
No, it's just clay. That's just clay. And now I'm gonna work on my wheel with no compound. And this one, I'm not up this high, so that I want the fluffiness. I want the fluff.
Janice Bell says this step of polishing separates the pros from the hobbyists.
Well, you know, I was doing all this by hand. I couldn't find a machine. And you know, if you're trying to fill a booth or even a table at a craft fair, you know,
Well,
time is money.
I remember, before craft fairs up north, sweetie, when you would sit there for 3 weeks with 15 pieces of sandpaper and 3 buckets of water and just going through piece after piece after piece in front of the TV with me.
Right. Like if you're just making clay for yourself or for gifts or something like that, you know, then I don't know that you would need this machine, right?
Well, this machine is for somebody who's really serious about what they're doing, right?
Well,
Like
or
any
or like I
tool.
said, Well, like I said too, the other thing to keep in mind is, let me do this. So this is the one that I just did on the Jewel tool, and this is one that isn't done at all. So can you guys see how quickly I got to that level of shine? It's
Now,
really cool.
is
Would you
there
like to?
is there anything else you can do to the piece in conjunction with this tool or in addition to this tool that will bring that luster out even further?
I mean, I suppose I could throw my flannel wheels on there and see, but that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty glass-like. I think. Is
And
it not picking that? It
no,
also
it's picking it up.
on the camera.
I just know when you put resin, you get another level of depth, or you put the polymer, the liquid polymer
Now
on it.
they say that you can. Well, yeah, and that's an easy way. Those are easier ways to get shine. But there's times when you just want, you just want to polish it up.
Oh
Would you
yeah,
guys like?
no.
Would you
Uh,
guys?
can I
Would you
ask?
guys? Yeah.
Okay. Uh, so Janice, Bill, do you wash it in soap and water afterwards?
Well,
Is a
you can.
question.
Yeah, I mean, I usually can, right? The clay piece. Also, how do you clean and maintain the tool? So, I'll when I'm done tonight, I'll probably take a little vacuum and vacuum this out.
And
Um,
D is saying only masochists hand file, and Cynthia's a masochist.
um, and even with resin, you do need to sand. Yeah, even if you're going to use liquid clay or sand, resin or something like that, you do need to sand it. Um, there's some resins that if you sand it too much, they pool on you. But yeah, most people will. So I'll do one more flat piece, and then we'll do the round kit. How's that sound to everybody?
That excites me. I like these pieces, by the way.
I found these like in a drawer. I was like, where was I going with this?
Why didn't we finish these? That's one of the cool adventures by doing this, right? Is we find these things in nooks and crannies of the house. Hey, Joanne, how you doing? Joanne Bright just said hi, and she said, "What a time saver and so much beauty."
Oh, it is really a time. Now this is a pretty. Right here is a pretty rough area. So
You need to push it forward if you want to show somebody a specific spot, sweetie.
okay. So right here is kind of rough. So. And I am, moving the piece and turning the piece because it would be very, very easy to oversand, one spot on this.
So Jessica says she's trying not to watch because she's getting jealous and wants one.
Well, like I said, I mean, for us, yeah, we were doing pretty well financially when I bought this, and it was still an investment. But I do wooden jewelry and I do metal jewelry, and so you can little by little collect all these discs, and then it's very much worth the investment. Okay, so I think I got all of that. And it is a quick change tool, and you're not losing the key to your Dremel
Or you're not kicking your Dremel to 30,000 RPMs and burning right through the friggin' piece.
Yeah. I was never able to find a power tool that I liked for polishing polymer clay.
Thank you, Janice. Yeah, I take pride. We take pride in our production values. She's saying the lighting is absolutely beautiful. This whole setup, believe it or not, is in a 24 by 24 cube tent.
That's why I don't have my. Because I thought about, well, I'll just bring the shop back in and then I'll just mute. But I'm like, well, there's only so much room in the tent here. Okay. And now I'm gonna go with my felt. And
Poor Jessica's been too naughty lately. Her mom will not let her buy one of these at the moment. So you know what we can do, sweetie? We can let Jessica use it if they come for a visit, and if Frank's really nice and comes for a visit, we'll let him use our powder coat setup.
Yeah. I have a, you can't get it anymore. And I was doing metal jewelry with it. It's a powder coat kit from Craftsman. Sears Craftsman. Ed's got a very professional setup. And so, I'm already getting some shine on this. It's harder to show the shine on the flat pieces.
That is starting. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm looking at this piece, and that's turning out really beautiful. And I'm still at a loss as to why we put it in a drawer somewhere.
I think I started designing because I've got a bunch of these, and I think I started designing a necklace and. I started designing a necklace, and then somebody was coming over, and I had to clean up, and it was before we really gave me this dedicated room. So I think it was pieces of a necklace all over the living room.
Yeah, it's either that or I can always go out and rebuild the old streaming room in the garage for you, but it's a little hot out there right now, Jessica. She's saying that you did say she could stay in the Badudio if she came out here to visit.
All right, now I'm going to do my compound.
And just so you know, Jessica, you will be visited by Ginger, the wandering St. Bernard.
Not all who wander are lost.
Ginger is.
Ginger's not the smartest. Not the smartest doggy ever. I missed a spot.
Nice, Frank. That's good. Oh, then you'd like Ginger. She is an absolute sweetheart.
She is.
And she's an old codger like me. Actually, what is she, 80 now in human years?
I think so. I think maybe even a little bit older. So, I don't think you guys are going to be able to see it, but I can see there's a spot right there that I missed it somehow. But the cool thing about this is, it's not like I have to go back to 400 grit sandpaper and sand all the way up. So let me see if I can find one of these that I didn't sand. So there's one I sanded. And there's one I didn't sand.
Damn, that looks nice. Forgive me, folks. I just happened to look up and see it. So are we going to do a tutorial on that design?
Well, it's a cut and replace. But I do cut and replace veneers a lot. But geez, now I gotta. I don't know how I did it. No, I don't think so. Okay. All right. So now we're going to move on, and we're going to do some domed pieces or some round pieces.
Yeah, Frank's saying
So
that's an amazing result in such a short time. And that shine will last, right, sweetie?
yes,
Cool. So says the
it
clay
will.
newbie.
So let's see. Here's one I did with the JoolTool. Really taking my time. I'm going to start. Now, the other thing, too, is Annie does sell stuff for you to wrap around your fingers. But this 3M abrasive isn't really all that.
Frank's saying that's why you should always take notes, Cynthia.
Well, what I do now is I just leave this tent set up, and then I can just film and photograph as I go along. I'm just trying to figure out which ones would be best to do. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to start with a round bead. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the coarse wheel. I don't think this bead really needs the coarse wheel, but I want you guys to really see what the process is, because when you're sanding and buffing, whether it's clay or metal or anything, what you're doing is you're sort of you're universally scratching it. You're that's not the
You're
word I'm looking for.
uniformly scratching it.
Uniformly scratching it. Okay, so
Yeah.
now if you wanted to, you could put this bead on a piece of wire or something like that. But I'm just
So
going to
I just have Thor in my head now, flying around the universe, scratching people.
Okay. So again, this is coarse, and it's not on too high.
And you're using a real light touch, right?
Super light. If you press it all, it's going to fly across the room on you. You learn that pretty quickly.
So Janice has a kitten named Thor. Thor is a great name.
Ooh. But yeah, that it is a great name. But when you mentioned Janice, it made me think that she mentioned that Anie does lots of demonstrations on this tool, every day. She does it on YouTube also. I don't know if she does that as often, but they do, so you can get some idea. And so, again, I'm just trying to universally scratch this up, right? I don't want to miss any spots. I want to be kind of thorough.
Now, is that's rigid, right? The disky thing?
No, this is the.
Oh, so that's on a squishy pad. Okay. See, I know technical terms.
And the polymer clay systems for this machine have gone through a couple of renovation isn't the word I'm looking for.
I think you're looking for iterations.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the part of my brain that does language is missing tonight.
The little wheel is hypnotizing you. That's what it is. I'm going to stick with that.
So I'm going to look around the bead now and see, are there any spots left on that are like not necessarily shiny, but you can see that they're not a little bit scratched. Because what that indicates is that I haven't got them sort of all on the same level. I still have, raised areas. Whoops, see, don't press too hard. I still have some raised areas or, dips or something like that. That looks pretty good. So, when you learn lapidary, how to, polish up stones to, make cabochons for jewelry, one of the things that they have you do is they have you color the whole stone in with a Sharpie marker to teach you to know that that you've evenly sanded something. All right. So that was coarse, and I'm going to be honest with you, I very rarely start with coarse because, as you can see, that scratches it up. But sometimes you do need, coarse if you have a lot of lumps and bumps and stuff. But I most often will start with medium or fine. So now I'm going to do the medium wheel, and the idea here is we're going to get rid of all these scratches that I put in there. All right, so it's actually still scratched, but now I'm putting finer scratches in. Uniformly putting finer scratches in here.
You're replacing the big scratches with littler scratches. It is always amazing to see that transformation, though.
Yeah. But I say it all the time. It's really, if you do the first grit correctly, then the rest of the, whether you're hand sanding or using this machine or another machine, if you get that first grit done correctly and you get everything level, then the rest of the grits just don't take as much time. You're almost guaranteed success. I'm trying to peek above here. I can't. And oftentimes what I do is I work with this machine with a like a magnifying light in front of it, so I can really see what's going on.
So Frank's asking, is there a method to turning the bead when you're doing that? He said it looks a little random.
Actually, so it's hard for you guys to see because I haven't totally drilled it out. But I start at one hole and I move down till I get to the other hole.
Oh, so you're kind of doing it in, is it hemispheres or whatever the little lemon-like slices are in a globe?
So I'm sort of doing half, starting at the North Pole.
So you're going from, essentially, if you view the hole as the poles, you're doing a slice north to south or whatever your orientation is.
Now I'm at the other hole. And I'm sort of moving, to the midpoint.
Yeah, I can see there's probably several patterns you could use because it's really ensuring that you're doing a full coverage of the surface, right?
Yeah.
So if you find a pattern that works for you, because Janice is saying she does it, she kind of goes north, middle, south. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm also trying to kind of keep control of the bead. So once I've done that, then I just kind of look around and I say, like right here, it looks like it's still kind of scratched. So that does get kind of random at that point.
Thanks, Frank. We're both having a hell of a time with words today. You should have seen some of the conversations during the day.
So that was medium. I'm going to move on to fine. I don't think I picked the best bead. for this, but
Oh, that's a shame, Deborah. She says you can't stay in the hospital with her husband. I guess he opened his head to the bone.
oh my goodness, it's a little. I got this a little high.
And now you're on the fine. Is that correct? I missed the transition.
I am on fine. See, I never would have even tried to sand this bead. You know, I gave up on sanding round beads a long time ago. Oh, see, don't hold it too hard.
That's the other thing that happens in the house. When we hear that noise, no matter where I am, we both say at the same time, don't press too hard. It's weird the rituals you get.
I actually keep thinking that I should devise some sort of holder.
Yeah?
Around the...
A variation of that doohickey you got the other day might work. Now you got ideas in my head.
So I think this is probably the hardest one. The domed pieces don't usually take me this long, but it's basically it's like Frank said. You know, it looks random, but you're actually just trying to make sure that you've gotten the entire bead.
So poor Deborah, he didn't even pass out. They are stapling 12 inches.
Whew. How did he do that? My gosh. My gosh, what did he do? So now I'm on very fine.
That's me in a suit, by the way.
He's such a fox. Mooch the fox.
When I was younger, though, I used to have to wear a suit to work every day. And folks just called me Guido because I just looked like a friggin' hitman.
Oh, you know, you are my eye candy.
I am the eye candy. Well, now I'm just the voice candy.
The man behind. That's
One
very
could say
fun.
I could say I'm the man behind the woman, but then that just goes in so many bad directions.
Come on now. Yeah. Rated G. Yeah, we want to be rated G. Woo. Sorry about that.
So Deborah said he was building a deck and a beam fell.
Oh, gosh. I hope everything's okay. So you don't use the felt with the round and the curved pieces. You go straight to compound.
And why is that?
I don't know. I don't know. I just follow directions. And I think you guys can see it's shining right up.
Oh, I bet you it did, Deborah. It scared the devil out of him.
Bet you it scared the devil out of everybody. Heavy sleep on them. And nobody wants to be in a hospital right now, you know?
Oh, no kidding.
But I hope you guys can see how much It's shining right up.
All right, Deborah, have fun. She's got to go. The doctor's back. She's watching us from the hospital. Now that's
Oh,
dedication.
yeah, jeez, Deborah, thank you. And I hope everything's probably going to keep on overnight if it's that much of a gas. So another thing that I want to mention is, this is rotating this way. And so if I come over here, I'm fighting it. So I'm going to stay over here in the direction I know it's rotating. And then, just as before, no compound. How are we for time, Nikki?
You're sitting at an hour and 5 minutes. And we did want to talk a little about, I'm very sorry, folks. We did want to talk a little about the stream changes and some of that stuff.
Okay.
So just keep that in mind. Because I interrupted you in your intro, and I apologize for that.
That's okay. That is okay. And so this is what we started with, and that's what we have now.
That's a beautiful piece, too.
Yeah, I've had these kicking around in a drop.
These have been around for a long time. Because I know Ginger's been looking at those like, I swear it's candy. I want to go eat that piece.
Yeah.
It's round.
So I'm going to quickly do a domed piece, and then we'll talk about. So I'm not going to start with coarse this time. I'm going to start with.
Awesome, Frank. Are you enjoying the boho heart pendant tutorial, Frank? He says that piece looks fabulous, by the way.
Oh, thank you. What is the compound? Is it special for clay? It's not special for clay. I have tried other compounds, polishing compounds, and had sort of when I say compound, it's a polishing compound. It's really, the steps are really bringing up that high shine, right? And there's all different kinds of compounds out there. I've heard people say that they do use a polishing compound called ZAM on polymer clay. There's other polishing compounds that I think would probably ruin polymer clay because they are too abrasive. It's really strange to see myself with this.
With the mask on?
Yeah.
We should have painted it like a penguin mask.
We should have done something like that. I think I'm going to do this piece.
Now, should I put you on the spot and make you finish these pieces later when we put them up on the PayPal store?
So,
Janice is saying we could get a face printed on the mask.
Yeah, they are making all kinds of.
And by the way, Frank says he is really enjoying the boho pendant.
Oh, good! I'm glad.
That poor tutorial has a story behind it, doesn't it?
So, I didn't really know how to film. I didn't know anything about software. I had made one tutorial that, we had some success with it, and Nish was like, you have to make some more. And he was working at Equifax. He was driving 90 minutes to Equifax every single day. And a couple of other things happened. I think we changed cameras.
Well, we went from 1080p to 4K in the middle of,
So that was medium.
Oh, and you're right. We had to change cameras because the other one broke. It just wore out from all the streams we did with it.
Right, and like originally what I would do is I was trying to film and look at a monitor. Anyways, one time I forgot I left the camera on. I wound up filming for an entire weekend.
Yeah, we had 40 hours worth of footage on the camera.
And as I was trying to edit it, I was having problems, and so somewhere along the line, I decided that wasn't a very good tutorial. And so when Create Along asked me to, work with them again this year, I said, okay. And I said to Mish, well, you know what? I'll just fix up that tutorial. There's a few things I have to, I have to refilm, and but I was like, And then, so after I had signed the contract and agreed to give it away, not give it away. I have made money. You do make money when you work with Create Along. He said to me, what is wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with this tutorial. It's a good tutorial.
Yeah. But you were convinced. You were convinced early on that it was
I remember I was telling you, I'm going to have to refilm this, and I'm going to have to refilm this, and I'm going to have to refilm that. And the more we looked at it, the more I was like, what? There's no need to refilm any of it. So I'm going to warn you guys, too, when I take this mask off, I'm going to have a big groove in my face. Just be ready.
Also, Frank, let us know. There was some edits in that video that weren't done by us. If there's some stuff missing, you can always get a hold of us, and we'll walk you through those steps.
So I'm always happy to answer questions.
Oh, yeah. That's why we like our own video sites. And also, if there's anybody new here who hasn't seen us before, go check out CompleteAnotherMess.com. We have some great tutorials up there. Frank's looking at a tutorial we did for Polymer Clay Adventure right now as part of that, but there's lots of stuff we've done. And it helps out the channel.
Helps that out a lot.
Oh, anytime, Frank, and anybody who's got our tutorial, we pride ourselves on always answering questions. And we get some really weird ones sometimes, some funny ones. I'm not saying the what's, I'm just saying we get some interesting questions sometimes. Good, Janice. I'm glad that we enjoy and we love to do this. And to be honest with you, our YouTube stream is the smaller of the streams. Facebook is a lot more active. We're always posting stuff. Check out our Facebook page, You'll find that the tutorials are really reasonably priced. We do sales quite often. Do we have a sale going on right now, sweetie?
We do. We have a sale going on right now. It's 20% off. We use the coupon code SUMMER. Summer.
Yeah, that's one of our favorites, the subtle metallics.
Yeah.
How are you in Facebook jail, Janice? I'm sorry. Well, our tutorial store is not Facebook. We just do a lot of lives there and stuff. She's in Facebook jail for 17 days. I'm not going to
All
ask, you
right.
know. We've come close a couple times because they always have those rules they never tell you about.
Yeah, it's kind of easy to end up here. Okay.
That's looking pretty, sweetie.
Yeah.
That's a very formal look. It's interesting.
And one thing that I've noticed with polymer clay is sometimes if after buffing, if you put it down and wait a few minutes to come back and buff you can get even more shine.
Uh, Janice is saying she was framed, and I'm going to use that excuse.
I was framed. Yeah, see, it gets more shiny when you do so. All right. Well, let me see if I can find one that isn't with the same finish that isn't polished up. So there's before and after.
Wow. Can you hold that right there, sweetie? I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit so folks can see those two pieces. All right. I'm going to pop back. And there we go. We're back again. Okay. Those are nice, sweetie. I like those.
Yeah. When we come back, I'm trying to decide. I haven't done like a straight. Hold on a second. Oh, I broke my.
You broke your mask.
I did. Well, I'll go ahead and break this end too because I have more of them. Do I have the big line?
No, you're doing okay. It's not too bad.
I haven't done a straight polymer clay project in a while. I've been trying to conserve clay.
Frank's asking if that was a mica. Frank's asking if that was a mica shift.
Yes, that's a mica shift, and this is a mica embedded slab. So, all right. So we talked a little bit about at the beginning of the stream. We are taking next week off. We are taking a vacation week. We figure it's 4th of July. There's not going to be too many people around anyways.
And we live in Georgia, so it'll sound like a war zone here. So.
Yeah, because fireworks are completely legal, and yeah. Anyway, so I can't find the other one. So we're going to take next week off, and then when we come back, we're not going to stop streaming. We're going to keep streaming, but we're going to go to once a week.
Let me interrupt you real quick with a question.
Mm-hmm.
Janice is asking, will this work on the beads that you use foil
on? So I think that foil would have to be coated with either liquid clay or translucent. I think that the abrasives would take off, just like regular sandpaper could take foil off.
So you'd use the same care and feeding you would if you were going to sand it?
Yeah.
Okay. On with the announcement. I apologize.
I don't remember where I was. But at any rate, when we come back, we are going to continue to stream, but we're going down to once a week. And the reason, for that is this takes a lot of time. And believe me, we really enjoy it. It's really helped us with not feeling so isolated because, we're not people that should be out in public a lot right now. So, we love doing it, but it does take a lot of time and it takes a lot of material. So we're going to go down to we're on a, like everybody else, we're on a real budget. So we're going to go down to once a week. And what we thought we would do is 1 week Facebook and the next week YouTube. So we're interested to hear what you think about that.
And in addition to that, what we'll be doing for both the YouTube and the Facebook channel is we'll be reposting the live of the week on the other channel. So
Right. So if I do a live,
so
yeah.
yeah, if we do a Facebook one week, that'll go up as a video on YouTube. If we do a YouTube one week, that'll go up as a video on Facebook. So you still get to see the same content in your favorite place.
Yeah. So, yeah. Or the other thing we could do is we could just do it on Facebook and post them on YouTube. I suspect that's what we're eventually going to do because we just get it's just a much bigger audience on Facebook. So
We're being asked to
so
do a steampunk project. You really don't know what you're asking of the two of us because we do some pretty outlandish costuming and steampunk when we really put our minds to it.
we really have. Actually, I was going to say too. I do need the time too. I need the time to work on paid tutorials and jewelry that I can sell in the store. I have not done a straight polymer clay uh, live in a while, and I was thinking of doing these belly button beads that I make when I come back. It's either going to be that or weaving a wire bezel. So, yeah, but so I hope you guys understand. I'm not going to stop streaming. It's just time for me to back it off a little bit.
Yeah, and for folks that are used to the Facebook and the YouTube site, you will notice some changes coming up over the next week or so. I'm editing all the lives down to cut out the trailing lead and to make them uniform and to let people know it's a rebroadcast.
I know, it's so sad. Sometimes I see people saying, hello. Like, we're not there anymore. Sorry. But, all right. Other than that, oh, you're welcome, Deborah. You're welcome. It does make sense. So I haven't done a steampunk project in a while, but I'll see if I can think up a cool steampunk project for you guys to do.
We should at least break out the monocle and show them for next week.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it is.
I'll find it. I saw it the other day, actually. All right, folks. This was a lot of fun. We'll see you again. For those who are new, Fridays, we're going to keep, by the way, on the one streaming a week, we're going to keep the 2 o'clock time on Friday for now. And as things lighten up, as we make a little more money and gain back a little more time, it's really based upon how the numbers are looking. And we'll go ahead and maybe add back. We do want to do a North America focused stream. Fridays is predominantly, we get a lot of folks from the EU in.
We're trying to be international. An international force in the polymer clay world. So
any help you guys can give us is appreciated. Follows, likes. Please hang out with us on Facebook. Hang out with us on YouTube. You'll see on the YouTube there's a PayPal, buy us a cup of coffee link. I take coffee any day.
Yeah, if you go to the About page, if you enjoy the stream, you want to support the stream, you want us to be able to keep going, you can think about you're always welcome to come. If you're not in a position where you can donate right now, that's perfectly understood, and you're always welcome in the stream. You're always welcome in chat. But if you can buy us a cup of Joe, we appreciate it. All right, everybody. So I know I'll see some of you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Facebook.
All right, guys. Yeah, I know, I can tell. Thanks, Frank. Yes, we are going international, Frank. We will catch everybody later. Thanks for joining. And yes, we're going to eat. Catch you later, guys. Bye-bye.